Welcome back, everyone who's joining us so far. My name is Jess, and I'm the Director of Communications and Affiliate Programming for Fibershed. And I wanted to share, as part of our community updates this afternoon, a short presentation from some of our Fibershed affiliates. So as Rebecca writes about in her book, Fibershed started here in Northern California and has now taken root in more than 50 global communities. So all across the world, there are people working at different scales and looking at their home geography and the fiber and dyes and relationships there. And so we thought it would be wonderful to hear about partnerships that are elevating that work. And so we're going to hear from Fibershed affiliate organizers in Ohio from a short video interview that I did just this week. Thank you all for joining me. I'd love to start with introductions. If you could each introduce yourself and how you define your strategic geography and the name of the Fibershed that you're working with.
Well, I'm Jess Boeke, the co-organizer of Rust Belt Fibershed. Sarah.
I'm Sarah Pottle, the other co-organizer of Fibershed. I'm Namita Patel, the organizer of Dayton Fibershed.
And Sarah, could you share a little bit more about the geography of the Rust Belt Fibershed? And Namita, if you could share about the Dayton Fibershed and how those bioregions are intertwined.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually remember when we were sitting in your seats just 2 years ago at the Symposium, Jess and me, we had come out from Ohio to see firsthand what this Fibershed thing is all about and what we could start one in our own region. And we are so happy to be here with you today to share a little bit about our journey and talk more about that region right now. So our geography extends roughly 250 miles outside of Cleveland, Ohio. Our region is incredibly rich in features. Considering fiber, Ohio has the most alpaca out of any state. A good amount of meat sheep. We need to do a little bit more research there. And some underutilized food sources we're pretty certain. And a really growing local organic food scene that we've been able to use as a model and where we've been able to build some relationships, which we can talk about in a little bit when we talk about partnerships. But considering the landscape within our Fibershed is one of the 5 Great Lakes, Lake Erie, and its watershed. And so this is constantly on our mind that we talk about how our textiles affect our freshwater system. And when you think of this area of the Midwest, you may think of agriculture, which we certainly have a lot of, but our Fibershed also contains 7 large cities: Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Erie, and Detroit. And then all of the universities and programs and potential partnerships that go along with those cities.
Fantastic, thanks. And Namita, the Dayton Fibershed is a more targeted effort within the Rust Belt Fibershed. Can you share how this sort of nested shed within a shed emerged?
Yes, so I also was very interested in Fibershed, and as I was researching, I came across the Rust Belt Fibershed and connected with them about collaborating on some projects. The opportunity within Dayton came up to apply for some grants and projects very focused to Dayton, and so we took the project as Dayton Fibershed, and it was selected, and so that's where a lot of the efforts over the past year have emerged from. So Dayton has a rich history of innovation and also fiber. The Dayton Sewing Machine Company was hosted here in Dayton. We also had colored patterns back in the day. So this region has a history of Fibershed and creating local American clothing and textile. And so I think the ecosystem is now re-emerging to enable that. We have different organizations like Co-op Dayton, Up Dayton, a fashion incubator, as well as the Dayton Fashion Show, a Dayton Sewing Collaborative, and a really vibrant Dayton urban farming cooperative emerging that's really supportive of the Fibershed effort.
That's so inspiring and wonderful to hear. Thanks for that snapshot of your history. And for Jess and Sarah, within the Rust Belt Fibershed, I noticed you've been working both on the hyper-local scale, for example, with the Cleveland Flax project, working on a small-scale flax production effort, and on a broader regional scale with your Rust Belt Alpacas project that has started this year. So can you share more about how partnership has played a role in coordinating these local fiber initiatives?
Yeah, so partnership has been a huge part of the success of these efforts. And for the Cleveland Flax project, which you mentioned is hyper-local, we first needed to find a farmer to partner with. And we ended up finding the perfect farmer, Emily Peck, the owner of Great Nut Farm. She's a flower farmer. We picked her to be our partner. She'd never grown flax before, but I think this was a good lesson in not necessarily choosing a partnership based on experience, but rather choosing one based on interest and passion. And when we met Emily, she was just learning all she could about regenerative agriculture and stewardship for the land. And we clicked pretty instantly. Two of the things that made the partnership so successful was a shared vision and clear communication. During our initial conversation, we outlined our tentative process, laid out logistics, finances, and everything that came to mind. And having this initial agreement really served us in our shared mission in the end. Other partners in this project, we were able to involve the Rust Belt Riders, which is a community composting organization based in Cleveland that's doing really great things for the soil quality in our area. This was a great idea if you have a similar organization in your area to look them up and see if you can partner with them. To complete this project of the Flax to Garment, we presented the idea to our local spinning and weaving guilds, and many of them were eager to jump on board. And we also are partnering with our Community Textile Arts Center here in Cleveland, which, as a side note, they're also doing some really cool stuff with homegrown indigo and Sugamo composting. And they're going to help us with doing some spinning and weaving as well, with some spin-ins and some other really unique events. We would not be able to partner, we would not be able to spin and weave all of this flax by hand without these generous partners. And finally, we'll be partnering with designers to make final garments. So this full-blown handmade, grown in Cleveland linen garment that will hopefully educate lots and lots of people about where their clothes come from would not be possible. We tried to do it all ourselves. These projects really require partnership, and beyond that is built a community of friendships and purpose. And because of all these partnerships, we were able to reach a much broader audience, and education is really the main goal of this project anyway. So we feel these partnerships have greatly impacted the community around regional textiles.
Yeah, and for the alpaca project, to achieve our goals of mapping our alpaca challenges and resources and things that farmers are running into, we've had a partner with the alpaca farmers themselves, obviously in our region, but there are so many small operation alpaca farms in our region that getting some really good data on all of them is challenging because it's a lot touch point. So we've really worked to find partner organizations to help us sort of network into those different touch points. And that includes just really well-known farmers and vets that were really well networked. So we've been partnering with them. And we've been partnering with other organizations, fiber organizations like the Ohio Natural Fiber Network, and the some other alpaca clubs and that sort of stuff to try to collect the data and to grow our network. So it's really exciting, really like grassroots sort of partnerships there. And that's what creates a regional Fibershed, this community. So we're really excited about that. And then outside of those two projects, we've also built some other partnerships that have helped us gain some traction in our Fibershed. The partnerships we've built with local universities through our ambassador program and by going to speak to students at these universities has put us in contact with a young, passionate, interested crowd of people, which is really excited, and it's allowed us to crowdsource ideas like creating an ambassador program, which one hit when we were giving a lecture at the fashion, one of the fashion classes He's like, why don't you guys have a student ambassador program? And we were like, oh, that's a really good idea. So we were able to run with that idea. Now we're starting it. We have 2 different student ambassadors in 2 different universities who really just wanted to join on and volunteer. One is working on some Fibershed programming for fashion majors at Kent State University, and another is working on a little bit different programming at Ohio University. And we hope that this sort of programming and or the ambassador model can be applied at other campuses in a variety of ways to build a network between young volunteers. And they're excited about meeting each other too, which is pretty cool. And then last year we had the opportunity to speak at the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association conference, where the focus is mostly food farming. And it was a wonderful opportunity to share a little bit about carbon sequestration methods for fiber. As we piggyback off of the folks who were there for the local food movement, we were the only fiber people at the conference, but we found that many people have fiber animals or were interested in getting fiber animals, but they were just there for other parts of their operation. And they still wanted to talk to us. So another great way to partner with local food organizations. And then lastly is just that recent important collaborative partnership between Namita and all the awesome work that she is doing in Dayton and getting to just see what she's doing on a really local level, and then being able to promote those ideas within our Fibershed too. So yeah.
Amazing, thank you. And that's such a perfect segue for Namita with the recent Fibershed Symposium organized in Dayton. The programming included some of the projects that Jess and Sarah just talked about, as well as partners like the 1 Acre Exchange Project from North Carolina and additional local experts on natural fibers and natural dyes. Can you share more about how partnerships are informing your community's vision for regional textiles and how the symposium went?
Yes, we were very lucky over the past year to be able to travel and meet many different people across the country working in the fiber shed space, traveling up to Winona's hemp farm and the conference up there was a great experience to be able to meet with Nick, the engineer at Fibershed, as well as the folks from 1 Acre Exchange. And then also meeting with Rebecca Burgess out in California was great too. And then also meeting with folks locally at different fiber festivals was wonderful. That's how we really built this network for the conference. And so just learning from all the different models around the country is helping to inform what may or may not work best in our region. So within the 50 miles outside of Dayton, we have a rich array of alpaca and wool farmers, as well as a lot of food farmers who can supply a lot of dyes, and also flower farmers. We're also very lucky within the 50 miles we have a fiber mill. America's Natural Fiber Works is right here down the road. And so the conference was a great opportunity to bring people together and talk about some of the work we're doing individually, individual farmers or individual natural dyers. But out of the conference, we are talking about pulling together and creating a collection, a clothing collection, and putting together a fashion show so that we can kind of highlight what that clothing in our region might look like and show what is possible to our local community.
Wow, well that will certainly be another layer of inspiration coming out of this great work. So how can we stay in touch? And Namita, if you could go first with how can we stay informed? Are there places where you're sharing about this work online that we should all be following along with?
Yes, there is a Facebook page called Dayton Fibershed, and also we are underneath Rust Belt Fibershed, and so their homepage is a great place to look for updates as well.
Great, thank you. And Jess and Sarah, where can we find more about the Rust Belt Fibershed?
So we have a Facebook page as well, Rust Belt Fibershed, and then rustbeltfibershed.com is the website, and also on Instagram, Rust Belt Fibershed.
Well, thanks everyone. And on the bottom, on the right-hand side, on the bottom, that's Namita at the Dayton Fibershed Symposium that she organized. And at the top, that's the Cleveland Flax project that they were discussing. So just wanted everyone to get a taste for what's going on in other communities where partnership is bringing some of these projects to life. And okay, shifting gears to another community update from around here. Heather and Alicia can join me. This year we're doing a Fibershed Knitalong, which some of you may remember from 2016. We did a Knitalong project. And I want to thank, first of all, Gail Ravenscroft from Pacific Knitting Retreats, who you heard on the panel this morning. She was a huge help in really guiding this project. And Megan Breekamp is our other wonderful model and community member. She has Summer Solace Tallow. And these are all page green photos as well. So a Knitalong is a community-wide knitting opportunity. It's a way for anyone in the crowd who's a knitter or future knitter who wants to try their hand at getting to know our local fiber community. Because so many of our members make yarns. As you can probably see in the marketplace today, I think this year in particular, we have at least 20 vendors offering yarns in wool and alpaca fiber and mohair, angora. There's even flax blend fiber coming out now and hemp blend fibers. So there's this really rich tapestry of yarns available. So the idea is that we're all picking up our needles and picking a local yarn, and then this year we're featuring 3 patterns. And so the each of the patterns follows a 2x2 rib stitch pattern, so it's knit 2, purl 2. And in the lobby, we have a Knitalong display table and a swatch wall showing how each of these yarns really takes on a different quality and character knit into this 2x2 rib. And it's been so much fun. Heather has been a huge help working on this project collaboratively. And Alicia here is one of our producer members from Fiber Circle Studio in Sonoma County. And she designed the cardigan that she's wearing that's called the Coastside Cardigan. And it can be worn in 2 ways. So it's this really kind of elegant, effortless layering piece, perfect for a day like today where it's foggy in the morning and then burns off. And again, it's knit in this ribbing. And as you'll see out at the table, we have some other options in alpaca fiber as well. That's what Megan's wearing, is an alpaca blend. And then the second pattern is the Bolinas Ridge Cowl by Marley DeSwart, and Marley's in the back at her table for Bow Rage Yarns and Designs, and she also has, as a co-member of Black Mountain Artisans here in Point Reyes Station. And I'm wearing a cowl that I knit out of Marley's pattern and some yarn from Lynn and Sandra and their Santa Cruz Island sheep that they're reviving as a breed. So this cowl is a really great way to combine 2 different yarns and really get a taste of different colors and textures. And then the Ocean Beach mitts are a pattern designed by Alice Tang, who has Tangram Knits and has a wonderful catalog of patterns. She's based in the Diablo Valley. And Heather has been knitting an amazing array of these mitts. In the pictures, you can see these orange mitts with Peggy Agnew's fiber and yarn from Red Creek Farm in the Potter Valley, and dyed with Coreopsis. And that's a climate beneficial transitional yarn because of Peggy's carbon farming practices. And that is also Peggy's yarn in indigo and weld. And then Heather knit a pair in the Heartfelt Fiber Farm, Wisant Delight, lovely fiber from Leslie Adkins, who's in the church hall today. And then another pair out of Bodega Pastures yarn in a thicker yarn, and Hazel's in the back at the Bodega Pastures table. And I should note that the cardigan Alicia's wearing is the Meridian Jacobs Solano County blend from Robin Lind, whose table is in the church hall as well. So how do we knit along locally? If you haven't had a chance, if you haven't gotten your yarn filled today, you can shop online at the producer-owned agricultural cooperative, fibershedmarketplace.com. And please do come see us at the information booth. We have postcards with all the pattern information, and then we also have participant cards if you're participating and you'd like to document your project with a swatch and these handmade paper cards. It's a beautiful way to showcase the great array of colors and textures and your take on these patterns and these beautiful fibers. So if you're online on social media, please share with us using the hashtag Fibershed KAL 2019 and learn more on our website. Nice to be back with you all. So I'm going to just do a quick few minutes sharing with you some of the updates related to the Fibershed book that came out in the last 2 weeks. It was approximately 4 years in the making, and a lot of that was due to my own capacity issues. Shouldn't take that long, really, to write a book. But I produced this book is really, I would call it a threshold of sorts that I walked through when I decided that, I was like, I can't not utilize my own natural dye skills and not utilize my own weaving skills. I should be, putting more of those skills into practice, into my own wardrobe. As a teacher, what am I doing? Not kind of deploying those skill sets more frequently in my own wardrobe. And this book really is a bit of that narrative, of that journey to localize the growing, the knitting, the dyeing, but it's also a story of all of you. And so it has the story of, Robin Lind, who's with us today, and Sally Fox, and Lonnie, and Hazel, and Marley, and people who aren't even here today. Catherine Jolda with her bicycle-powered drum carter, and Monica Paz-Soldan. Just kind of a menagerie of beautiful, continuous streaming relationships that developed from 2009 to now, and you really have all operationalized the Fibershed in your all individual ways. I see it in the visual narrative. It's being reflected back. I see your projects that you wear. I see the advances in your individual businesses. I see your commitment levels changing every year. So this book is really in honor of you. So I hope you enjoy. And I don't have any to offer right now because we just sold out, but I will have more of these available. That the Point Reyes bookstore is selling them, and they are abundantly available at local bookstores. So that said, I'm going to segue.
Can we give you a really large round of applause first?
Thanks.